Hey guys, Brandon here from the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans for sports fans, back with a new video we're going to do on this channel. We're going to do our tier maker list. First one here today is going to be discussing the NHL reverse retro jerseys that just came out today. All 31 teams now have a throwback jersey that is going to be worn along with their two main jerseys. So what we're going to do today is basically, if you don't know what the tier maker list is, and if you haven't seen the videos on other stuff going around YouTube on many different topics. Basically, I have 6 tiers here, and F tier being the worst, S tier being the best. We're going to rank all of the, and kind of react to all of the brand new jerseys that have been released by Adidas and by the NHL teams themselves. So without further ado, let's get into the video here. And again, this is just my opinions. My opinion is not the be-all, end-all, and I'm sure everybody's going to have their opinions on them. Make sure you're subscribing, liking, and checking out all of our content on our YouTube channel. We're going to start doing more stuff on the YouTube side of it, and our first video here to try and get going with the tier maker list. So make sure, if you have any opinions on any of these jerseys, make sure you're leaving a comment down below. And what are your thoughts on our rankings, not just our rankings, but your rankings as well? What jerseys did you like and not like from this new series? So with that being said, guys, let's get my first reactions here with the jersey rankings, and starting off here, I mean, something that just jumps out at the page to me as something that just looks really, really bad is, I love the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and, you know, what that movie was, and how great the Anaheim Mighty Ducks jerseys were back in the day, but this logo itself, I believe it was rated their worst logo of all time, and after seeing it on this new jersey, it just, I don't like anything about it. It's just the way that the duck is kind of, you know, coming off of the corner of the page. It's not centered at all. It does not look like a nice jersey. So for me, I love the Mighty Ducks, but for me, this jersey did not work for me. It just looked really, really bad. Another one that really did not catch my eye too much was this Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. And again, I am not a Leaf fan whatsoever, but I do like some of their retro jerseys. I don't like the way that they incorporated the 60s and the 70s within this jersey. It just, to me, it just looks very, you know, looks like one of those knockoff jerseys that you buy on one of these, you know, sketchy websites. It just does not look great. I think, especially with the Leafs with so much tradition, and the way that their jerseys have looked, they could have done a lot better with this, and I think their fans really deserve something better than that. So for me, I think the Leafs could have done a lot better as well. So for me, that goes to the F tier. Just going off of some of the rest of the jerseys here, Nashville's, it didn't do too much for me. I think that they really could have done a lot more with this. For whatever reason, they're charging the most for their jersey so far in the pre-orders. Don't really know what's going on with that. I just think it could have been a lot better, and with some of Nashville's color schemes over the years, I think they could have done a lot more with it. So for me, I'm kind of disappointed with the way that Nashville's jersey kind of turned out. I think they could have been a lot better. So for me, that goes into the D tier. Another one that goes into the F tier for me is this Islanders jersey. It's basically the exact same as their other jersey. I don't know if they just decided not to participate in this, and Adidas just decided to give them a jersey of whatever it already looked like. But for me, I think the Islanders have had some decent jerseys in the past. They could have done a lot more rather than just giving the exact same jersey that they basically have now. So for that reason, the Islanders are going to go in the F tier just for the lack of creativity for me. Trying to look at some of the rest of the jerseys that definitely one that stuck out to me was, I'm trying to look for it here, is the Pittsburgh Penguins jersey. There it is. That one just did not do it for me. There have been some great Penguins logos over the years, and some great color schemes with, you know, those powder blue jerseys. To me, this one just didn't do it for me, and I don't really like the word Pittsburgh going across, sideways like that. It did not do it for me. So for that, Penguins are going into D tier because they have had some great jerseys over the past. I think they could have incorporated into it. Moving on, another jersey that I felt was just kind of plain was this Detroit Red Wings jersey. Basically, you know, just the exact same that we've mostly seen from the Red Wings. I would have liked to see, especially for an original 6 team, something that we would have seen as a throwback to their many decades in the NHL. So for me, I think the Red Wings just kind of played it safe here and could have done a lot better. Even something that incorporated something that they did with the Winter Classic jerseys a few years ago. Those were really nice. So for me, I think the Red Wings also missed the boat on that as well. Another jersey that is a kind of a meh to me, and it might end up going down more if I decide here, is this Ottawa Senators jersey, the red. I know they're coming back with that 2D logo permanently, so that's not really a throwback at this point. They're going back to that logo full time. So for me, I would say that this Ottawa jersey is just, it's a lot of red, I'll give them that, but for me, it just, I don't really understand, going all red with that, especially with the 2D logo. They've had some nice logos over the past, especially if they're going back to that logo now permanently. I think they should have done a throwback to one of their other logos. So another one that kind of, to me, looks like an Ottawa and Calgary, the Ottawa Senators and the Calgary Flames had a love child, and it became this Vegas Golden Knights jersey. Actually, it's going to go down to D, because it basically, to me, looks like the Calgary Flames blank jersey and then added their shoulder patch onto the front. Just didn't like it whatsoever. And Vegas, obviously, they don't have much history. I mean, how can you really have a retro jersey when a team's only 3 years old? So for me, this Vegas one is definitely going to be in the D tier, and it's pretty close to being F tier. It just does not look that great, especially compared to what their home and away jerseys look like. Those gold and gray jerseys look a lot better. Moving on, the Philadelphia Flyers. I do think that these are decent. With the cream color, I feel like they could have incorporated a little bit more into what we saw back with their Stadium Series jerseys. I think those looked really nice, but again, a lot of these teams have played in Winter Classics or Stadium Series, so it's kind of difficult to kind of replicate those same jerseys. But to me, this kind of reminds me of like the early 2000s Flyers. Maybe they could have went with a black here. I think that might have looked nice as well. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to say that the Flyers were in the C tier. Just don't really have an opinion on it. It's kind of meh on both ends of that spectrum. Same with the Bruins jersey. I mean, I know they incorporated the old logo, and I like the yellow a lot in there, but I don't know. To me, this Bruins jersey doesn't pop off the page to me like some of these other ones do, so I'm kind of indifferent about it. We'll put it in the C tier for now. Another jersey that was kind of decent, and I'm glad that they went back to it, was this Florida Panthers jersey. Went back to the old logo. They went back to that the blue with the red shoulder pads there. Reminds me of early 2000s Florida Panthers. I dig it. So for me, I think it goes into the C tier. Just maybe even it could be close to B tier, but for now we're going to keep it in the C tier. Moving on from that, I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars. I think that this was a decent jersey. It kind of looks a lot like their jerseys nowadays, but I guess they were trying to throw it back to the Minnesota North Stars somewhat. But for me, it's going to go into the C tier for now. I think Dallas, again, I do like that logo. I as much as I didn't like it when they won the Stanley Cup against my Buffalo Sabres with Brett Hull scoring in the crease. But regardless of that, Dallas going in the C tier for now, and we'll move on. Something that goes into the B tier. As for jerseys that I think are pretty good here, I think I like this Blues jersey. Again, for the Blues to have some red in there, I think that's a nice touch there. I really do like that jersey, and glad that they're kind of bringing it back, incorporating a jersey from the past there. So I do like that. I think it goes well, and adding a little bit of blue on the bottom I think is a nice touch as well. So for me, that Blues jersey goes into the B tier. Another one that's going to go into the B tier is the San Jose Sharks throwback jersey. I think I would have put this in S or A tier, honestly, with that old logo. If it wouldn't have been gray, I think that this jersey would have looked a lot better if it was either the blue or they just stuck with the white. I don't really think that the gray does a whole lot for me. I think that it kind of takes away a little bit from the jersey. So for me, this throwback early 2000s Sharks jersey, I like it a lot, but I would have went with a better color, main color than the gray. So for me, it goes into the B tier. Another jersey that I think is decent, and Flames fans have their opinion on this, but I do like that the flaming horse there. I do like that. I like that. I like the jersey. The fact that it's black, I think that really pops with the black background on the jersey. I think if this would have been white or even red, it probably wouldn't have looked as great. So I'm glad Calgary was able to have the black jersey, and something we don't usually see from the Flames. They basically have had the same jerseys for many years now, it seems like, and the same red and white jersey. So I'm happy to see Calgary get a different color in there. I think the black looks really good with the red, and I think that these are pretty decent Flame jerseys, something that they've kind of been wanting for a long time for as far as something new with their jerseys. But with that being said, let's move on here to another jersey I think is pretty decent, is this Montreal jersey. I do like the fact that they incorporated the blue along with the red. I think it's a nice touch there. Just a very solid jersey, nice clean jersey for one of the original teams in the NHL and the Montreal Canadiens. So I think that looks that's a nice looking jersey right there. As much as I don't like the Montreal Canadiens, but got to give them credit for the jersey. I think it looks decent. Another jersey that I'm going to put in this tier. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here, so I'm going to put this Oilers jersey there. I think it's a nice 80s Gretzky type look there. I'm getting the vibes from that, but I think it's good. I think it could have been a little better. I don't really know what I would have changed on it. Maybe it would have been orange or maybe blue. I think blue would have looked really nice. Maybe the blue shoulder pads, or maybe they went back to a couple of the old Oilers logos we saw in the 2000s. There, the oil drop kind of going down just as the whole jersey. I think that kind of would have looked nice as well, but they decided to go with their typical logo here, but it's a nice jersey for the Edmonton Oilers. I still dig it for sure. Moving on to another jersey, and we're almost getting into the A and S tier here, so it's kind of difficult, but I'm going to put this Vancouver Canucks one in the B tier as well, just because there's a lot to put in A and S tier. I think this is a nice looking jersey. I think, adding the shade of green in there looks really nice. So for me, I think it kind of incorporates a couple of the Vancouver Canucks jerseys from the past, and I just like the look of it. I think it's a nice color scheme, and it probably looks going to look even better in person. So for that, I'm going to put the Vancouver Canucks jersey in the B tier. Moving on to the A and the S tier here, and I'm going to have an opinion on a lot of these here. I'm going to start off with the A tier, and I'm going to put this Minnesota Wild jersey in there. I really like the Minnesota Wild jerseys in general. I think they have some of the best jersey lines in all of the NHL. I think it's a nice way to incorporate the Minnesota North Stars with the yellow in there, and I like the fact that they were able to make the logo stand out like that as well. So for me, I really like this Minnesota Wild logo as a throwback to the Minnesota North Stars, and I just think Minnesota has some of the nicest color schemes as far as their entire jersey line in the NHL. So for me, thumbs up for the Minnesota Wild in the A tier. Another A tier jersey, I think it's going to be a throwback to the Tampa Bay Lightning and their Stanley Cup run. I like the way that this looks. It brings back vintage early 2000s Tampa Bay Lightning, the Vincent LeCavalier years, even Dave Anderchuk as the captain when they won the Stanley Cup. So for me, I like this Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. They have some of the nicer jersey lines in the league as well, but I'm glad they're throwing it back to this old logo as well. I really like it, and like the black and the white as well. Another jersey I'm going to put in the A tier is this Columbus Blue Jackets jersey. I think it's a nice change. I mean, you bring back that CBJ logo, which I grew up with watching the Columbus Blue Jackets. They obviously didn't have much success using that jersey, but I think it's a nice touch, and I think the red and the white looks really nice. That used to be, I believe, a blue and white jersey, I believe. I don't remember it being a red jersey for very long, so I like the fact that the Columbus Blue Jackets are going to use this old logo with the red. I think that's going to look really, really nice. So A tier for the Columbus Blue Jackets and theirs as well. Another one that they're going to put in the A tier is going to be the New Jersey Devils. I know a lot of people don't like the Christmas tree, but I think I dig it. I think that it might be so bad that it's good at some point, and I think that's what the New Jersey Devils, the Christmas tree jerseys kind of go for. I like the fact that the green and the red sticking out with the Devils logo. It's just a classic look for the Devils, and I think they've kind of had some plain jerseys over the past, and I think it's refreshing to see the Devils with something new. So for me, I'm going to put that the Christmas tree jersey for the Devils in the A tier. Moving on to another jersey I'm going to put in the A tier, and that is going to go to the Winnipeg Jets. They're bringing back the old logo that I believed had been put in the Arizona Coyotes kind of vintage logos for the longest time, but I think the Jets now do have the rights to that, so I'm glad that they now have the rights to their old logo. And just really didn't make sense for Arizona to keep it now that the Jets are back as a team. It just doesn't really make sense to me. So for that reason, I'm going with the Winnipeg Jets bringing back their old logo in the A tier. I like the gray. I think they did a nice job incorporating that. Maybe we'll see a Thrashers throwback one day for the Winnipeg Jets. We'll see. But for this, definitely a thumbs up bringing back the old Jets logo. Really like it a lot. As for the rest of the A tier, and I'm going to put, what do we got? 5, and we got 7 jerseys, so I'm going to put one more in the A tier. And it is going to be the Buffalo Sabres. My favorite team, the Buffalo Sabres, I think goes into the A tier. They're bringing back the butter knives jersey with the word Buffalo across it. If you remember, this was a red jersey, all red, back in the early 2000s that they wore this jersey. The reason why I put it in A instead of S tier is that it's just unfortunate that the goat head and the red and black logo that my generation of Sabres fans grew up on is only going to be on the shoulder patch, but for that reason, I think it looks good on the shoulder patch, and I think this jersey does look good, incorporating the new colors that they're going back to the royal blue and the yellow. I really like it a lot, but again, it probably would have been in S tier if the goat head would have been in the middle and the butter knives would have been on the shoulder pads. But a really nice jersey nonetheless, and glad the Sabres are going to be bringing one of those back. Might have to pick one of those up. And with that, let's get to the S tier, and if you haven't guessed it already, the New York Rangers, I believe, going into the S tier, bringing back the Liberty jersey. I actually just picked this jersey up as at one of my local collectible stores for a very cheap price, and it was the starter version of this jersey. It looks really nice. Again, I'm glad that they're going back to the Liberty jerseys. Who wouldn't love to see Alexis Lafreniere in the Liberty jersey? I think that's going to look really nice for the New York Rangers. Always really nice jerseys for the Rangers in general. But with that, we're going to go with the Arizona Coyotes. I think that looks really nice as well with the Kuchina head. I wish I would have brought the Kuchina jerseys full time, kind of like the that burgundy color they were using in the brown. I think that would have looked really nice as well, but for this sake, I think that it's a nice look for the Arizona Coyotes. It's something different, something that we're not used to. The purple, I like it, so for me, I think the Arizona Coyotes, a nice touch there, and for me, it's going into the S tier. Another one that's got to go in the S tier, obviously, is the Hartford Whalers for the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm actually shocked that they didn't make it Carolina Hurricanes colors, which, looking back at it now, I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because I don't know if the Carolina, black and red colors would have really worked with the Hartford Whalers. Who knows, but I really like the fact that the Whalers jerseys are coming back. A nice touch and tribute to a team that's no longer there. So good job for the Hurricanes getting the Whalers jersey back. It's always a classic. For me, the LA Kings jerseys, the Marcel Dion era, I really like this logo, or this jersey, obviously with the purple. They changed it with the logo, the jersey with the logo, though. They brought back kind of the Gretzky era with the black and the black, silver, and white logo there with that Kings logo, but they incorporated the vintage original Los Angeles Kings with the purple and yellow color. So I really like that, kind of incorporating two eras of LA Kings hockey there. So I really like that jersey. I love the purple and love that logo as well. So I'm really glad that they were able to throw back to that. I would have even liked if they would have done the early 2000s logo that the Kings had with just the crown. I think that would have looked nice as well, but I'm not going to complain about this. Looks really nice and brings back great memories of those vintage LA Kings teams. Another jersey that I'm going to put in the S tier is this Washington Capitals jersey. Always loved that Capitals logo. Don't know why, it just was I think it was one of those just distinct logos. You always knew what that was when you saw it. It was the Washington Capitals, and I think the red looks nice. Obviously, the Capitals have kind of gone away from their black and white jerseys that logo was a part of in the early 2000s, but now it's kind of they kind of changed their colors to be all red oriented, so kind of incorporating the early 2000s with the current Capitals jersey. So I really like that, the fact that they were able to put the red onto that logo and then have the word Capitals going across it, kind of throwing back to that vintage jersey as well. So for me, I really like that Washington Capitals jersey. I think that's going to look really nice to see Alex Ovechkin rocking that and that logo that I believe he wore for a couple years when he first started out as a rookie before they changed over to the new Capitals logo. So for me, Capitals going in the S tier. And last but not least, gotta love this Colorado Avalanche throwback to the Quebec Nordiques. I love this color scheme for the Colorado Avalanche on the Nordiques jersey. Again, I mentioned that the Whalers jersey probably wouldn't look good with the Carolina Hurricanes colors, but I think the Avalanche knocked one out of the park here with this. Just how can you not love that color on the Quebec Nordiques jersey? It looks just fantastic. Can't wait to see what those look like on the ice. And the Avalanche continue to get me on their bandwagon of things that their team does. So I love these jerseys, and gotta love the Quebec Nordiques. Maybe we'll see them back in the league one day with those powder blues, but if not, I think this is a very nice tribute for the Colorado Avalanche being moved from Quebec back in the day and incorporating their current colors onto the Nordiques logo and onto the Nordiques jersey. I think it looks very, very nice and a great touch. So for me, I would put those 6 jerseys on the top with the Rangers, the Coyotes, the Whalers, aka Hurricanes, the Kings, the Capitals, and the Nordiques, which is the Colorado Avalanche. Let me know what you guys thought of this video, and let me know what you guys thought on your picks in general. Let me know if you thought that my picks, if you agreed with my picks, or if you kind of have something different and a different opinion. Again, this is all opinion based, so would love to hear your guys' interactions on this and what your thoughts are. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, subscribe, and tune in for more tier list videos and more videos coming to the Armchair GM's YouTube channel. Big things coming in 2021. Thank you for sticking with us, and if it's your first time here, please make sure that, again, you're liking and subscribing and keeping up to date with all of our new content, and ArmchairGMSports.com for all things regarding our network as well. So with that being said, I'm Brandon, and I'm going to be signing out here from the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans, for sports fans. We'll see you guys next episode.